You think someone is holding you back. A boss, a rival, a system, a shadow that keeps crushing your will. But what if I told you no one has the power to stop you unless you allow them to? Tonight, we uncover Machiavelli's darkest truth. The moment you stop begging for freedom, you become impossible to break. You believe the world is full of walls, borders drawn by the powerful to keep you small, silent, and obedient. You believe others decide who rises and who falls. But what if I told you that these walls do not exist? What if the only real prison is the one you built in your own mind? Every day, men curse their rulers, their systems, their misfortunes. They say, I would have achieved greatness if only they allowed me. Yet who are they? Who gave them the authority to control your will? Look closer. You will find that your oppressors are not kings or masters, they are illusions, made real by your fear of disobedience. You have been taught from birth to obey, to wait for approval, to follow the invisible script of society that whispers, stay in line, be patient, play safe. And like obedient citizens, you comply. You call this morality, or discipline, or humility. But I call it what it truly is, the art of keeping you powerless. The first lesson of power is this: no one holds dominion over you unless you grant it. A ruler without subjects is only a man with a crown. A tyrant without your obedience is nothing but a voice in the wind. The great deception of the world is that you must ask for permission to live boldly. The powerful never ask, they decide. It is not fate that limits you. It is your willingness to bow before it. I once observed men who waited for fortune to favor them, who begged for opportunity like beggars at a king's gate. They prayed for change, but never dared to seize it. Meanwhile, a smaller number, those without fear, walked past them, broke the rules, and carved their names into eternity. Do you know why history remembers certain men and not others? Because the remembered ones refused to believe in the illusion of limitation. They acted as if the world already belonged to them, and in doing so, they made it so. The weak wait for a sign. The strong become the sign. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself that you can't move forward until someone else approves? That you need more time, more knowledge, more luck? This is the invisible leash. It pulls tighter every time you surrender to self-doubt. It's not made of iron. It's made of excuses. And yet, when a man finally sees through this illusion, when he realizes that power is not something given, but something taken, he becomes unstoppable. The same doors that once appeared locked begin to open. The same voices that once commanded him begin to tremble. The illusion dissolves, and the man is reborn. The truth is that no authority truly exists outside your own mind. Power only flows where belief allows it to. You make a man powerful by fearing him. You make a rule sacred by obeying it. You make a master real by kneeling before him, but remove your belief, and the master vanishes, the rule collapses. The fear dissolves. You were never truly held back. You were simply convinced that you were. The illusion of limitation is the most dangerous weapon ever forged, for it makes you imprison yourself, guard your own cell, and call it safety. You defend your fears as if they protect you, not realizing they are the chains around your neck. There will always be people who benefit from your hesitation. They will praise your humility, reward your silence, and celebrate your patience, because every moment you wait, they advance. Every time you question yourself, they tighten their grip. But the moment you stop waiting, the illusion cracks. The moment you stop believing in their control, they lose it. Understand this. The mind that accepts limits will always live beneath them, and the mind that rejects them will rise above every barrier. The illusion of limitation is the world's oldest trick, one that has conquered nations without a single sword drawn. The rulers of the world do not need to chain you. They only need you to chain yourself. Power is not always held by the strongest, the richest, or even the most intelligent. It belongs to the one who understands how to appear strong, how to seem unshakable, how to control perception. For in this world, men do not follow truth, they follow appearances. And those who master appearances master men. From the courts of Florence to the thrones of empires, I watched the same game repeat. The powerful do not rule because they are invincible. They rule because they make others believe they are. Perception is the true scepter of kings, the invisible weapon that conquers more minds than any army ever could. Ask yourself this: when you look at someone who commands a room, do they truly possess more power than you, or do they simply carry themselves as if they do? The answer is uncomfortable, but it is the root of all influence. People believe what they see, not what is true. The confident fool will rule over the wise coward every time. You see, most people crave certainty. They look for someone who seems to know the way, someone whose confidence offers them safety from their own confusion. When you present yourself as that pillar of certainty, they will follow you. Even if you have no map, no proof, no guarantee, they will follow because your belief in yourself gives them permission to stop doubting. And that is how the game begins. The weak look for guidance. The powerful become it. I have seen men of little talent rise to great heights, simply because they knew how to appear greater than they were. They wore the mask of control, spoke as though their words were law, and walked as though the world already belonged to them. Their enemies saw the mask and mistook it for the face of power. Their followers saw it and called it destiny. You must learn this craft, the art of shaping how others see you. It is not deception. It is strategy. For perception creates reality. The moment they believe you cannot be broken, they stop trying to break you. The moment they think you are destined to win, fate itself begins to favor you. Understand that every gesture, every silence, every word you speak contributes to this illusion. The strong do not waste words explaining their worth. They make others feel it. They let their composure speak louder than argument. When chaos erupts around them, they remain calm, not because they do not feel fear, but because they refuse to display it. People will always judge what they see before they understand what they hear. So why not control what they see? To appear composed in defeat, confident in uncertainty, and fearless in the face of opposition. This is the essence of Machiavellian power. When others panic, your stillness becomes a crown. When others doubt, your certainty becomes their anchor. In this world, truth bends to confidence. Appear powerful long enough, and soon even your enemies will begin to believe in your power. The image becomes the reality. The performance becomes the truth. Do not wait to be seen as powerful. Decide that you are. Then act, speak, and move as though it is already known. The world will follow your lead, because most people would rather obey a confident illusion than challenge an uncertain truth. Those who understand perception know that fear and respect are two sides of the same coin. Appear too kind, and you will be overlooked. Appear too humble, and they will forget you exist. But show them a man who stands firm, who speaks with conviction, who never flinches when confronted, and they will yield to him even before he commands it. Control through perception is not about pretending. It is about becoming. The mask you wear long enough becomes your skin. The image you project shapes the way you think, the way you act, and the way the world responds to you. Soon there is no longer a difference between appearance and truth. The illusion evolves into power itself. And that is the secret few dare to understand. Power does not begin with dominance. It begins with the perception of dominance. Every man, no matter how cunning or disciplined, will face betrayal, loss, and humiliation. The world does not bend for those who complain. It bends for those who learn to use pain as a weapon. The weak crumble when the world turns against them. The strong, however, sharpen themselves upon that very resistance. This is the hidden law of power. What tries to destroy you can become the foundation of your dominion if you learn how to turn opposition into strategy. Think of every obstacle as a mirror. It reflects your limits, your weaknesses, and your fears. Most people look into that mirror and retreat. They see defeat, rejection, and judgment. But a mind that understands power does something different. It studies the reflection. It learns the shape of the wound. And then it strikes back with precision. When they betray you, it is not a tragedy. It is a revelation. You have just been shown the truth about loyalty. You have been handed knowledge that most never gain until it's too late. The betrayal teaches you where trust should end and control should begin. When they oppose you, they are teaching you how to maneuver in darkness, how to fight with silence, and how to turn conflict into command. In Florence, I saw men ruined not because they lacked opportunity, but because they lacked the wisdom to use misfortune. They cursed their enemies instead of learning from them. They wasted their fury on revenge instead of turning it into calculation. The powerful man does not waste energy on outrage. He converts it into motion. Every slight becomes motivation. Every attack becomes analysis. Every defeat becomes an instruction. Do not be mistaken, pain is not noble, and suffering is not glorious. But they are useful. The world's greatest tacticians, rulers, and thinkers all share one secret. They remember their pain, but they do not relive it. They use it, they allow it to harden the mind and sharpen the will. When someone rejects you, it is an invitation to refine your influence. When someone slanders you, it is an opportunity to test your composure. When someone underestimates you, it is a signal that they have already made their first mistake. Let them. Every enemy reveals something about themselves, how they think, how they plan, how they fear. And the one who observes quietly will always know where to strike. The art of power is not avoiding conflict, it is directing it. You cannot control what others do, but you can control how it affects you. You can decide that no action against you will go to waste. You can decide that no defeat will go unstudied. You can decide that every failure will build a new layer of strength. To live strategically is to view life as a battlefield, not a tragedy. You must train your mind to see lessons where others see loss. The man who suffers and learns becomes unbreakable, because every new blow finds him already adapted, already evolved. The man who cries over injustice remains chained to his pain, while the strategist uses that same pain as leverage. Opposition is not the end of progress. It is the evidence that you are moving. The world only pushes back against those who are pushing forward. The greater the resistance, the greater the proof that you are becoming dangerous. You are meant to meet resistance. It is the universe asking how badly you want control. Let every challenge refine your strategy, not weaken your spirit. The powerful never ask, "Why me?" They ask, "What can I do with this?" They understand that chaos is not a curse. It is raw material. The very forces that rise against you can become the fuel that carries you beyond them. When you adopt this way of thinking, every wound becomes wisdom, every enemy becomes a teacher, and every setback becomes a map. You stop asking for easier battles, and you start preparing for larger victories. The world no longer intimidates you, because you have already learned to transform its hostility into purpose. There comes a moment when a man must decide whether he wants to be liked or to be free. The two cannot coexist. To be free is to stand apart, to detach from the constant hunger for approval that weakens the spirit. The world is full of men who live on borrowed confidence, men who rise and fall with every opinion around them. But the one who learns to live without needing acceptance, that man becomes untouchable. You see, true power does not exist in domination alone. It exists in detachment. The powerful are not immune to attack. They are immune to dependence. They act not because someone allows it, but because they have decided it is so. They move forward without the blessing of the crowd, without applause, without reassurance. The moment you no longer seek validation, no force can control you. Most people think freedom means doing whatever they want, but that is an illusion. Real freedom is when no rejection can wound you, no insult can reach you, and no betrayal can break your composure. It is when your power is rooted within, not built upon the fragile opinions of others. That is the level of mastery that terrifies the world, because a man who cannot be emotionally manipulated cannot be ruled. You must understand, society feeds on your need to belong. It promises comfort in exchange for obedience. It teaches you to bend, to apologize, to stay small enough to be accepted. But every time you bow for approval, you sell a piece of your independence. You make yourself predictable, and predictability is weakness. The powerful thrive in mystery. They are respected because they are difficult to read, difficult to reach, and impossible to sway. In my time, rulers lost their thrones not because they lacked armies, but because they depended on the love of their people. Love is a dangerous currency. It is unstable, emotional, and easily withdrawn. A wise ruler chooses respect over affection, fear over friendship, control over comfort. The same law applies to life itself. Do not aim to be loved, aim to be unshakable. When you rise above the need for reassurance, the entire structure of power shifts in your favor. Those who try to manipulate you will fail, because their words will no longer dictate your worth. Those who try to humiliate you will waste their effort, because you will not feel diminished. Their approval becomes irrelevant, their hatred becomes noise, and suddenly you hold the upper hand not through aggression, but through indifference. To become untouchable is to rule yourself so completely that no one else can. It is not arrogance, it is sovereignty. You no longer react impulsively to the world's provocations. You choose your responses with the precision of a strategist. You become deliberate, calm, and composed even when chaos surrounds you. And that calmness, that unbothered stillness, frightens those who seek to control you. They cannot manipulate what they cannot move. Think about the people who seem most powerful, the leaders, the visionaries, the conquerors of their time. Their secret was not charm or luck. It was the ability to stand alone. They walked through storms without flinching because they understood that external validation is a chain disguised as a crown. The moment you depend on it, you give someone else the key to your peace. The moment you no longer need it, you take that key back. When you act from inner conviction, rather than fear of rejection, you gain a new kind of influence, one that others feel, but cannot explain. You begin to radiate certainty, and certainty is magnetic. People start to follow not because you ask, but because your detachment makes them curious. You become the silent authority in the room, the one whose approval everyone seeks, even though you seek no one's. The path to becoming untouchable is not found in isolation from the world, but in independence from its control. You can walk among others, deal with them, lead them, even love them, but never become enslaved by their opinions.